In so many ways, I didn't ask for this body. My natural pear shape, my round face. You guys can't tell because I'm putting on that MySpace angle right now. It's like really round. Let me show you. Look how round this face is. It's very round. It's a Vietnamese part of me. Let me put you back at the MySpace angle. Or how are you gonna watch my videos? I have to look pleasant, no? And my small ass titties. But in so many other ways, I worked really hard for my body. Okay, my relationship with dieting. From society's constant pressure to be a certain weight and to look a certain way, I started dieting at a mere age of 10 years old. It's fucking ridiculous. What had happened was that my thighs were getting bigger. I was getting stretch marks from developing and my pear shape came in quick and I started my first diet. I knew in my heart of hearts, I wanted my legs to look like 2 hot dogs on the beach. That was the dream. So the cycle of toxicity begins. This is a side thing. I was fighting with my husband about something and we were both being toxic. I think he was being toxic and then I was being toxic. And I realized that toxicity is a circle. It is like your parents fuck you up and then they want you to hang out with them now that you're an adult, but you fucking hate them and you treat them terribly because they gave you toxicity and then so you give them toxicity and it's a circle. I mean, dieting is really different forms of not eating. There is no carbs, there is no sugars, there is no junk, there is no fat. And my favorite, no food. Some people call it a cleanse. I call it starving. So there's 2 parts of you. There's so many ways of calling it whatever. You can call it the adult you and the kid you. You can call it the rider and the horse. Whatever you call it, there is a rational side to you and there's an emotional side to you. So what happens when you're dieting is that the rider is super critical and they think you're super fat and like they look in the mirror and they hate you and very intolerant of what you look like. I think ultimately the rider is on the horse's side. That's why they are telling you you are fat, you need to change, you suck, and we need to change you so that you look better and you become acceptable in society. And the horse takes it for a while because the rider and the horse are a team until the horse becomes hungry. And then because they have built up so much emotion, the horse takes over and the horse says, fuck you, I'm gonna overcompensate, I'm gonna eat a bunch of shit because you didn't let me eat a bunch of shit and I deserve it. Because you told me that I can't have junk food or no fat, no sugar, no carbs, I'm gonna fucking eat it even harder. So you backslide a lot. So that's basically dieting in a nutshell. And I've been doing that for a little over 12 years. A little bit about my background. I am 4'5". Before I started my journey for health and wellness and whatever, the average weight I was like 120, and I wouldn't say that I was fat, but I wouldn't say that I was skinny and healthy. I was skinny fat. My relationship with exercise, God. My whole life, I hated exercising. I was a couch potato. I never did anything. In college, I was way more serious about exercising. A lot of my girlfriends would exercise. We would do P90X, beach body. It was so stupid. What I realized was that after I did all that exercising, I would be inclined to eat more food because I was like, oh, I exercise. I deserve it. If you don't know this, I think I've quoted the statistics a couple times, but I'm gonna say it again. If you eat 1 M&M, you would have to run across the entire football field to burn off that 1 M&M. And I'm not talking about a bag of M&Ms, I'm talking about 1 fucking M&M. I mean, you cannot exercise your way into a good body. You have to eat your way into a good body. So I would exercise, use up all that willpower, go eat something crappy, and then ultimately I gained at least 5 pounds. It would be 5 to 10 pounds. And it was ridiculous. It was like I was working so hard, eating so much, not seeing the result I wanted. I really believe that you have a finite amount of willpower. There's like so many statistics, so many studies about why you only have so much willpower. Usually you use that willpower to either do your taxes or like you need to go get your oil change or something. But you could use your willpower to change your habits. And so I was using my willpower ineffectively to try to change my habit of exercise instead of eating right, because society has taught you, because of Coca-Cola ads. You know, it's so interesting that these conspiracy nuts believe in all these weird conspiracies when the real conspiracy is all these food companies trying to manipulate you into believing that the only way to lose weight is to exercise, when the real way to lose weight is to stop eating the crap that they're fucking trying to profit off of you from. I digress. So I was part of society and I don't know anything, and that's what happened to me too. So I believed that I just had to exercise. And let's say that the willpower unit you have is fucks given and you only have 1 one fuck. The average person has one fuck to give in one day because we are human and we can only literally change one habit at a time because we have very little willpower. So if you're gonna use your one fuck to exercise really hard, then you have no fucks when you go to the grocery store or if you go to a restaurant. If afterwards you're exhausted, you have no more fucks to give, you're gonna eat a ton, and that's what happened to me. In 2012, I gained so much weight, and I'm gonna give thien some compassion right now because thien was in a major she didn't like, going through a rough breakup, trying to figure out what to do with her life because she was on like the last years of college and realizing like this transition is gonna be big, but really trying to avoid the fact that I would need to find a job and not be a student anymore and my identity would be completely upside down. So thien got fat. I wish I had more pictures of myself being fat, but I was in so much shame at the time that I didn't take enough pictures, but I kind of regret it because now I'm like, I don't know, I just think it was a part of me, you know, and I shouldn't be ashamed of it. But at the time, it's so hard because, you know, no one wants to be fat. And there's so much shame with being fat, and I think society sucks. I was thinking about it, and I was like, if I took more pictures of myself when I was fat, then when I got thin, I could look back on it and be like, damn, I accomplished so much, da 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 da. But if I got fatter, then I would have been like, damn, I used to be so thin, da 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 da. So I feel like, unless you stayed the same weight, it's a win most of the time. If you got fat and you want to take pictures, then you should take the pictures because probability is either you're gonna get thin again or you can get super fat. You're not usually in the middle where you stay the same weight. It's so wrong of me to say, but I'm just saying that maybe it's okay if you took a lot of fat pictures because that was a time in your life, and that's how I feel. I feel like I could have looked at those pictures and been like more compassionate to myself and da da da. Anyways, here are the pictures. Enjoy looking at fat tits. Ironically, I gained a lot of weight, but not in my tits. I was like, fuck, are you fucking kidding me? If I'm gonna be fat, God, give me some tits. For a person who's 5'4" and who has never been 137 pounds, it was so excruciating for me, and I didn't feel like myself. I think I was depressed or something. I was something. When I was really fat, the thing that shook me out of it was looking at my fingers, and my fingers were really fat, and like everything a part of you except for my titties grew, and I just looked at them and I thought, this isn't me. I feel like a lot of health nuts on YouTube say that they're health nutty and they did it because they love themselves and da 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 da, and I don't think that's true. I think yes, the energy I get from being healthy, I love that I can think properly, that I'm a whole new me. I love all that. And I also hate myself. I was fat. I hate that even if I get slightly fat now, I still have to try to get off of that bridge of being really critical of myself. I wouldn't say that I only love myself and that's why I'm healthy and I'm also positive. No, I'm both. I'm both negative and positive. At the time, I had rather starve myself than eat a fucking vegetable. But now, if I want to lose weight and feel like myself and look at my hands and know that this is me, I had to eat a fucking vegetable. And I knew that when I was in this lifestyle that I was eating all this junk to get away from my feelings was not what I wanted for my life. And yeah, there was a lot of love in there, but there was some hate, definitely some hate. I hated who I was at the time. I was using both as motivators, but I think generally I was pulled towards this healthy lifestyle. And I think sometimes the universe gives you what you need. Around the same time I was motivated to change my life, I roomed with this person in college, and she was lovely. She taught me so much about being classy because I was a classless hoe before because I didn't have a daddy. But she taught me a lot about being healthy and like being the better version of myself. When I first started eating healthy, I started eating a lot of vegetables. I didn't lose any of the weight for a whole fucking month. And if you were dieting and you were miserable and you hated eating the vegetables and you know it doesn't taste as good as the other crap, right? And you do it for a month and you don't see a result, what do you think you're gonna do? You're gonna ricochet back. Because the whole point of eating healthy was to lose weight, and for a month you wouldn't lose a fucking pound, then you would ricochet back because you don't think it's effective. But I didn't do that because I thought that's not the point of me eating healthy. The point of me eating healthy was that I was going to change my life. And so even though I didn't see nothing, I was on that stupid scale, that toxic friend, that is your frenemy. The scale is your frenemy, and I was on it all the time. And don't let your frenemy dictate your joy, okay? But I still continued to eat healthy because I just wanted to change my life. And there was something internal about me. I knew something was growing in me that is just different. I knew that something was gonna change, even if no one else saw it right away. After that, like every week I would lose 2 pounds until I was like 125. And that was okay. I think I was at a good spot in my life where I was like, okay, this isn't my average weight. I'm not 120, but I believe this is the route to the life I want to live. So then I continued being healthy. At about 125, I decided I didn't need to look at the scale anymore to believe that I will eventually lose the weight. I just knew in my heart that I would. I think I was 125 for a while, for a few years, and then eventually I was 120, and then I started running. I started running because of a huge depression I was in, and then I found some joy in running. You shouldn't run on a treadmill, I swear to God. You gotta run outside, you gotta see the world, you gotta see people on the street, you gotta see the plants, the trees. It's so beautiful, like just to slow down. I mean, I jog, I don't run. My average mile is like 13 minutes. It's not fast at all. And I don't think the point is to outrun myself either. It's to enjoy the moment and slow down, be in the zone and get this high. That's when I dropped my weight. My max was 137. I would say I was 118 with my diet. Now I eat like an 80-20. If you don't know what 80-20 is, it is basically eating 80% healthy food, 20% treat food. I don't even know if I do 80-20. It varies depending on what I'm doing, how I feel, how sad I am. And then I exercise, but I only do it for fun, for my mental health. I do it it's my antidepressant. I only lost 3 pounds and I exercise a lot. I would go on like half marathons on the weekends. It would be 13 miles and I only lost 3 fucking pounds. Think about that. Like I used to go on like 5-mile runs every single day. That's a lot of fucking work. But I did it for joy, but still, I only lost 3 pounds. This is what I'm telling you. Doing all that work is not gonna solve you being fat. I mean, I know you're only here because you wanna know how to be thin, right? So what you need to do is change your diet. That's the first thing you should do. It should be the only focus you focus on, because again, you have only one fuck to give every fucking day, and that fuck should only be on changing your diet. Eventually, when you're at a place where you're dieting, your healthy habits have been habitual, then you can change your exercise, but that should not be your first focus. This is a funny story. When I first got my abs, I was motivated to run so much, and when I got my abs, when I saw them in the mirror, when I saw them on my stomach, I was like, what the fuck is this? You know how like when your identity is, say that you're an alcoholic, you feel like you're screwed, that is your identity, that is what you're used to. So then any chance you can to ruin your life again, if you try to get back on track and you do and you feel like you're getting there, you all of a sudden feel the need to fuck it up. And that's what I felt. I felt like, oh my God, I have these abs, what the fuck, it's crazy, I can't believe it. I felt at the time I shouldn't have these abs, so I tried to ruin it. I tried to eat unhealthy, I tried to eat junk, because I tried really hard to get rid of them because I didn't believe it was a part of my identity. It wasn't. I've never had abs. During that time, I tried really hard to fuck it up. My identity still was that I was healthy though. For like 7 years, I was healthy. So even though I tried really hard to eat a lot of junk food, my body was getting icky. I ultimately had to revert back to being healthy because that is a stronger part of my identity. So even though I was trying to kill the ab part of my identity, my healthy part was so strong from years of having this habitual, I'm gonna be healthy. It doesn't matter what I look like, I'm gonna be healthy. Even though I was scared of my abs and my ego was like having like this meltdown, and then I got pregnant and then I was like, oh thank God I'm gonna be fat again. Because my brain was still like dealing with this and it was hard. That's what we all want, right? We want to have abs. That is the goal, that is the dream. Just like the hot dog meat, that is the dream. You want your legs to look like hot dog meat and you want to have abs and you want to have big ass tits and a big ass booty, but thin ass, like you just want to look like a fucking cartoon. It's fucking ridiculous. Humans are very irrational beings. I think ultimately I knew deep down that I was gonna get my abs again because how can I not? I eat healthy, this is my lifestyle, I love to run. I think it was just a great time for me to process that and sit with the fact that I was gonna get abs again. Really thankful that I got pregnant, because then I think I would have been just freaking out, like feeling uncomfortable. You know, like I am a nerdy band geek, that is my identity. I think a little part of me feels like I was always an outsider, a loser, and abs doesn't align with that loser mentality. And so they appeared again and I didn't flip out as much. If anything, I like them a little too much now. And it's just making my ego feel so good about itself. I think that anyone that is trying to lose weight and focusing on losing weight, it has a really hard time losing the weight. But I think if you focused on being healthy and trying to incorporate vegetables and fruits into your diet and like healthy fats and brown rice instead of white rice basically, then you will get to the goal that you ultimately want. And I think it's interesting because that kind of happens with love too. Like I used to date a bunch of men. I was a fucking man eater. I had daddy issues, and then so I fucked with men, and I'm so sorry if you were one of the men that I fucked with. Anyway, so then I think I couldn't even be single for a month. Maybe I could have, but you know, like I was the type of person that if I was on the market, like the next guy would Facebook poke me or some shit, and then boom, I would be in a relationship because I was just that one girl. And obviously it was from that like needing my daddy. And not wanting to be alone and being afraid of being alone. Side story, I met my dad, and one time he told me that he loved me so much or something like, it really touched me, and then it made me think, oh, I'm lovable, which I didn't know before. And then all of a sudden I didn't feel the need to date anymore. It was so crazy how affected I was by one person. It's like you think you're so above that, you know, you're human, you're so intelligent, you have this 3.5 pound brain in you, and you're so competent, and you can do so much, and the whole human race can do so much, and we are still little children inside. It's crazy. So I didn't need to date, and so like for a whole year and a half I used that time to just be with myself, which was so nice because I'm never with myself, or I never enjoyed it before. You know, I was terrified of being alone. And then I met Ben, and it's interesting how when you're not looking for something and you're like doing something more positive, you find the thing you ultimately wanted. Parallels with dieting and love. So ironic that I focused on being healthy, being physically healthy, and not focusing on losing weight ultimately got me to lose so much fucking weight. It's fucking ridiculous. Alright, I'll show you my abs. Oh, why not? Why are you even here if you're not here to look at my abs? If you're here for something spiritual or awakening, that'd be great, but like, you know why you're here. Damn, look at that, it's crazy. Isn't that crazy? That's so crazy. Look at my hands. I didn't know what to do with my hands, and I'm all like weird about it. My husband tells me that I should do more ab workouts. I do not do a fucking sit-up. I truly believe in that you only have one fuck to give in a day, and that fuck should be really used for something effective. And doing sit-ups is not effective. It is not going to get you the abs. He just thinks that my abs would pop more from doing it. I mean, I didn't want the abs in the first place. I didn't ask for the abs. I mean, I don't care that I have them. I'm already spoken for. I have a baby. I have a husband. I'm done with the game. I don't need the abs. They came too late. I'm gonna just give you some quick tips, some advice. Focusing on your mental health and your physical health is like super key to losing weight. I think if you just stop focusing on losing weight, if you stop looking at the number, if you start focusing on incorporating good fruits and vegetables, the fruits and vegetables that you enjoy eating, not the fruits and vegetables that you think will be healthy. You have to enjoy what you eat, and they have to be fruits and vegetables. So if you like apples, fucking eat a bunch of apples. If you like spinach, just eat spinach. Whatever you like, focus on that and stop focusing on depriving yourself, because if you believe that you're depriving yourself of shit, then you're gonna eat that shit even harder. It's true. Anytime you're like, I'm not gonna eat chips, I'm not gonna eat chips, but you think about how you're not eating chips all the time, you're losing your willpower. You're losing the fuck you're giving that one day, and you're gonna fucking eat a bunch of junk food. So I highly suggest focusing on just only incorporating vegetables and fruits and allowing yourself to eat the junk food, because life is fucking suffering. You gotta eat something to make yourself go by. Fuck, this shit is next level. You need something to bring some joy in your life, okay? Don't take that shit away. Okay, and then I would highly suggest, to be effective, to only incorporate one habit at a time. Again, I told you only have one fuck to give in a day. One fuck. And you should only focus on the one thing that's gonna be effective, which is dieting. And once you figure out how to incorporate fruits and vegetables into your life, you got it down, you got it covered, maybe you can consider exercising. But until you've really got your health shit, your eating habits down to like a pretty good ratio, then you should consider exercising. Because I wouldn't tackle both at the same time, or else you're just losing the war. You might have won the battle, but you will lose the war. Instead of doing exercises that are completely painful, like P90X or Beachbody, or like anything that you feel like it will help you shred but make you feel miserable, instead of doing that, find something you really love. I love to jog, I love to swim, and I only do that. And my husband, like I told you, always tells me all I need to do to make my abs pop. He always told me, those abs need to pop. He's always telling me that. It's so dumb. He's always telling me that I need to do sit-ups and stuff, and I will not do it, because the purpose of exercising is to have an antidepressant for my mental fucking health. It is not to look beautiful. So every time he tells me to do it, I'm like, it's not the point. I'm not gonna do it. I will not use my willpower to do this ineffective thing that like might make my abs pop, but then after I do it, I feel like I want to eat something bad, and then I will lose the abs ultimately. So Arnold Schwarzenegger, there's this thing he used to say. He was like, I orgasm all day, I orgasm all night. My whole life is orgasming. It's so weird, because he's talking talking about how he loves pumping iron because it gives him this high. You need to find something that gives you that high. Figure out what you enjoy and give it some time, because you might not enjoy it right away. When I started running, I didn't fucking love it right away. You'll know by second week if you like something or not. Everything's about focusing on what you love instead of taking away all the things that are negative. And then I think the last thing is to give yourself some compassion. Self-compassion is really key. I have read this book. It's by Kristin Neff, and it is amazing. It has taught me to be nicer to myself, and it's so interesting because you don't think about the thoughts that run through your head, but you can be a bitch to yourself. I'm a huge bitch myself, especially when I get fat, especially when I eat terribly, especially when I'm not perfect. Basically, you gotta read this book. I read it on Audible, so I'm not even reading it, I'm just listening to it. But like listening to this book over and over and over, and like how I need to be mindful when I'm suffering, how everyone suffers, and it makes me feel not alone. Every single fucking person suffers. The rich suffer, the white privileged old men suffer, we all fucking suffer, and it makes us feel united, you know, connected in a deep, terrible way, but in a very spiritual kind of way. And then I try to be nicer to myself, and that has been so game-changing. And not only nice behaviorally, like I'll give myself a hug, I will touch my heart and be like, I understand where I'm going through, like that caring kind of way, but also if I feel like I need to take a break, that's gonna help me feel better. I'll take a break, I'll go for a walk, I'll have a creative candy smoke, not only behaviorally, but even my thoughts. I will think nice things about myself, which is fucking rare because I grew up with a mean ass mom. And she never said nice things to me at all, so I'm not used to hearing nice things to myself. Nowadays, in my head, I will even think, this is a hard moment, and I need to be nice to myself, and we all fuck up, and we're all human, and it's okay to fuck up, and we'll do better next time. Life has just been more enriching with this self-compassion that I'm trying, but I'm not perfect at, because no one's perfect at anything, what I'm trying to incorporate into my lifestyle. So I would highly recommend trying that. I think that's it. This has been the longest video. I am so sorry. I hope it's been helpful though. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. I will see you next time. Bye.